This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. You can find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Welcome to my fully operational Star Wars analysis. I just finished episode 1 of Ahsoka. I had to stop to say something about it. I won't wait until I've seen episode 2, because each episode of a thing should stand on its own, shouldn't it? And I gotta say, I like a lot of things about it, but I dislike one thing very much. And that one thing that I dislike just got, spoilers, stabbed in the gut? I don't know. This stab apparently isn't going to be a problem for Sabine. She's going to be in the rest of the series, I'm sure, because of the promo material and whatever that we saw. She's got to cut her hair later and whatever. So, somehow, Sabine survived this cut. And I get that in the Star Wars galaxy, there is miraculous healing capabilities, but I don't know. That looks like a pretty bad injury. And unless it takes them like a couple weeks for her to heal up in a back tank or something, I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous. She shouldn't have got stabbed that bad. Why not, I'd almost rather cut off a hand or something if you're gonna cut her real bad to win the fight and then run, because Ahsoka gets there anyway. You also, Obi-Wan got stabbed in the shoulder, by Dooku, and Luke did it to Vader. That works. You can get the leg, you can tear out chunks of flesh, but don't do a torso shot like that and then say, oh, the person's fine, they're going on an adventure next week. Now, of course, I don't know that that's going to happen, but it looks dumb that she got stabbed like that. So, I don't know, little extreme. But that's not what I disliked. That's just a thing, another thing to talk about. What I didn't like at all and didn't make any sense, it's twofold, but I'll excuse one, but not the other. Sabine not showing up to the memorial for Ezra, even though, it's not that she didn't show up. She was there and then she left, based on the dialogue by Azad or Azari, whatever the governor guy is, played by the guy who voiced him. The guy who did the voice, it doesn't matter. The voice of Brother. I can't remember his name. I think it's Brown. I think it's like something Brown. And I can't remember it this time. But anyway, he's a big deal. He was in the original Highlander movie as a really cool guy. And he was like, Azad or, something like that in this, which is fine. He was fine in the show. It's funny because they got the voice actor. They made the character look like the voice actor that they chose. I believe that's how they did it. And then Clancy Brown. Yes, I remember. And he also played Savage Opress in the Clone Wars. Star Wars, the Clone Wars, man. Brought to you by George Lucas with the direction of Dave Filoni. So anyway, I'm super glad I remember that. It was going to bother me really badly. So anyway, moving on. So based on his dialogue, Sabine was at the memorial, and then based on that other guy, the senator or representative or whatever he was, Mr. Binks, that guy gave me hardcore Jar Jar vibes, even though he was human. Anyway, so according to that guy, too, Sabine was there, and then, like a jerk, she left. And then she does this, I guess it's a Top Gun reference, this silly thing where she's driving off on her motorcycle, and they're trying to call her in, because, the mayor or governor or whatever asked for them to, and she, does the, no, I'm too cool for that, and, motorcycle, dips her motorcycle under the jet or whatever. What? What is she doing? Like, why is she being such a jerk? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, apparently, at some point between Rebels and this show, she became apprentice. This is Sabine Wren, Mandalorian, became apprentice to Ahsoka Tano, failed Jedi, or, not fully trained Jedi. So, that implies, it doesn't say, it's not explicitly said, that implies that Sabine Wren, who lived with and fought alongside Kanan Jarrus for 3 years, 4 years, something like that, while he was training Mr. Blueberry, Space Aladdin, ironically played by the guy who played Aladdin in that live-action Disney movie that I liked, Ezra, Kanan was training Ezra, who had the Force, and now it turns out that Sabine also had the Force, somehow unbeknownst to Kanan, while he was training this guy. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and I'm super curious to see how they did that, unless, of course, she, was doping herself with midichlorians like I suspect a certain somebody was from another Filoni show. So I don't know how that works and why that would work. Then again, she didn't need to necessarily be trained as a Jedi with the Force. She could have just been trained as a Mandalorian to use, the Darksaber like she was, and then a lightsaber. But it also then appears as if she constructed her own lightsaber. However, she could have recovered a lightsaber from a fallen Jedi or something, or Ahsoka could have helped her build one, I guess. But she seems to have a kyber crystal, and that doesn't make any sense. So I may be salty, but I'm not saltier than Crate. So I actually just discovered that Reddit channel or whatever recently, and I read some stuff on there, and it was kind of funny. So anyway, I thought I'd reference that real quick. But yeah, I don't want to just complain because I'm not a hater. I liked Sabine in Rebels, is it Rebels? Yeah, Star Wars Rebels. I liked Sabine in that, although I was mad that they never gave her a jetpack. I really think they should have given her Flying Phoenix. And I also thought it was weird that sometimes they made her as capable as a Jedi, which I know Filoni can now say, yeah, guys, those were clues that she was Force sensitive, and everybody knew, but they just didn't talk about it on the show because they didn't need to, because they already knew that she didn't want to pursue Jedi training because whatever. Which, I mean, I guess you could do that, but that's obviously retconning things. But Filoni, and this is the last complaint for now, Filoni hasn't seemed to have had a problem retconning things that he was very much intimately involved with, like with the Kanan comic book and stuff. And he did that with Star Wars Misfits, Island Misfit Toys, whatever that show is called, with the Clone Troopers, the modified clone, Bad Batch. Anyway, so it just seems like an odd move to me, but whatever. I'll roll with it because it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, I care, but if they want to screw around with their own continuity, then, good for them, I guess. But anyway, I really thought that Sabine had some reason to be frustrated with Ahsoka if it is in fact true that Ahsoka abandoned her, if she walked away from her while she was her Jedi Master, training her in the ways of the Force, or if she was just her master. They were master and apprentice, and Ahsoka abandoned her. I can see why she'd be frustrated. I could see why she would dislike Ahsoka. So, while she voluntarily agreed to be at the Ezra and Ghost Crew monument unveiling thing, and then abandoned it, and that doesn't make sense, if she was betrayed, or felt betrayed by Ahsoka, it would make sense that she would abandon her or not want her help. Of course, her foolishness and pig-headedness seems to me like a regression of the character, which if she's been alone, I don't know how long it's been. I don't know how long it's been, guys. So that seems contrary to me because I thought she was a wiser, smarter, stronger, more capable character, but apparently she's not, and this is something to be proud of, I guess. But anyway, so her frustration with Ahsoka is somewhat understandable, even though we don't have the context, but they want us to believe it's understandable. Hera is there telling Ahsoka that she should get it and that it makes sense to her. Huyang sees that they have a contentious relationship with each other, and he is hoping that they'll work it out probably, but just, hey, you've seen lots of masters and apprentice who have had contentious relationships with each other, and then they worked it out, because that's what you do when you have a relationship with somebody. You have difficulties, and then you work through them, which is great. So anyway, that's kind of interesting. By the way, I love all the callbacks. I love all the continuity. I love all the, Ahsoka worked with Huyang. We saw that in the Gathering, in the Younglings arc from Clone Wars Season 4 or 5, whatever that was. So it's cool to see him back. It's cool they got the voice actor to come back, who I think played Doctor Who. I don't know who he is, though, because it doesn't matter to me, because I'm not a Doctor Who guy. I'm a Star Wars guy, an other thing guy. And I love his capability to research and to know. And he's like the wand guy from Harry Potter, right? He knows he's a computer, so it makes a little more sense. He knows every lightsaber that he's ever overseen the construction of. So that was a really cool, clever, nice way to tie that in. To tie him in and to make him useful in that moment and to help identify Baylan Baylan Skull, and indicate that he has taken on an apprentice sometime after the Clone Wars, because this lady's not that old. After he left the Clone Wars 20 plus years ago. Is this 25 years ago already? I don't know. Probably closer to around 25 years post Clone Wars. Yeah, that would make sense if it's post Return of the Jedi. So Anyway, actually, it'd be closer to 30 years, wouldn't it? Anyway, moving on. So, that's all interesting to me. And I like those little details. I liked Ahsoka exploring the witch temple. I was fine with her killing those droids pretty easily, and the way she... I don't know. It was kind of funny. I feel mostly good about it, but it seems like an odd choice to drop those 3 and then fight the 2 up top, and then when they come back up, then they initiate the self-destruct sequence. My biggest problem, and by the way, I liked how slow it was, I liked how methodical it was, I liked kind of the Indiana Jones, ruin exploring vibe, go and seeing Ahsoka, not just be a fighter, but be somebody of intelligence, and see her work out the puzzle and figure out how to get the map to come up. That was pretty cool. It frustrates me then, 2 things, that she has to go back to, I'm thinking of the actress who played her, the Tia Sircar, who did her voice in Clone Wars. That's not, or in the Rebels show. That's not who I want to talk about. I want to talk about not the actress who's playing her either. I want to talk about the character, Sabine. Yes. So, Sabine Jerk Wren. So, she has to go to her at Hera's insistence, or she goes to her at Hera's insistence because she is the artistic eye and she can figure out this puzzle. However, I think Ahsoka basically showed that she could have figured out the puzzle too, because she figured out a similar puzzle made by similar people for a similar purpose of concealing this map, and that was demonstrated to us very clearly. So that's an odd choice. It feels like they're shoehorning Sabine in, and then like I said, I was frustrated about Ahsoka, Sabine leaving Ahsoka, leaving the ship and everything to do this, to figure out this map, to work it out on her own where she could be more comfortable. And then when the map gets stolen from her, I thought, you jerk, this is your fault. You caused this to happen because you couldn't handle it. You couldn't act like a big girl, so you left in a huff and took your map ball and went home. And it just seems kind of dumb. I don't know if you could tell, but I like things. I like Ahsoka, clearly. I like aspects of Sabine, mostly from the show, even though I have a minor criticism about some of them. But then the way Dave Filoni, who is the executive producer of Star Wars Rebels, is now writing Sabine is incongruent, inconsistent, and incompatible with the Sabine Wren we got before, and she's irritating and dumb a little bit, and I don't get it. Beyond whether or not she has the Force, why is she a jerk now, where she wasn't a jerk before? She was calm, cool, collected, a rock-solid character. Zeb and Ezra were the fools who made things harder. And it seems like a really odd choice to purposely regress your character in order to do things a certain way when you're the writer and you have absolute control over how you make this work. They could have been working together, and Ahsoka had to go do something and left Sabine alone, and she still got attacked alone, and, Huyang is, in shutdown mode or something, and that's why they didn't notice the incoming threat or whatever. There's so many different things you could have done. But, again, I'm trying not to complain. I'm trying to just talk about the things I liked. But I'm also giving you my honest thoughts on this thing so far. I gotta say, I loved the assault on the prison ship and the freeing of Morgan Elsbeth. How is that lady a Night Sister? People were saying from Mando season 2 when she showed up that she was a Night Sister, and they knew she was a Night Sister. How is she a Night Sister when they're all pasty, white, non-human or near-human, a humanoid species, and she's clearly I don't know, is she a Mexican lady with Asian eyes? Because I've, met plenty of those. I'm related to a couple of those. Or is she an Asian woman or what? But she's clearly not a Night Sister, so I don't know how she's a Night Sister when they're all human. You cannot get, in the video game, the Fallen Order Jedi Survivor thingy, they have a Night Sister who's an ally to the redhead guy, and I don't know, I don't play these games, so, but she's white skinned with platinum blonde hair or white hair, and your girl Asajj Ventress clearly has white skin and a weird palette. Mother Talzin, again, all the Night Sisters we saw in Dathomir, who were in the slaughter that Dooku did, they all don't look human. They all look like they have this, white pallor skin, and their hair is different colors, and they're obviously non-human, or they're near human species from Star Wars, not a human species. So how's this lady a Night Sister? And if you wanted to be a Night Sister and you knew that from Mando, why not give her the white face paint and just have like a, ashen, white-skinned Dathomir witch lady who is Mexican or Asian underneath the makeup? Like, why couldn't you just do that? That seems silly. And it doesn't make any sense. And it wouldn't have stood out to people strange that you had a white-skinned lady there in the episode, in that Mando episode, where Ahsoka showed up. Like, it would have been no big deal. Anyway, that seems really odd. But Baylan and Shin, their attack on the cruiser, or the prison transport, whatever, to free her was amazing. I even like the smarmy Republic officer guy who's like, "You're no Jedi, you're Imperial pretenders." And Ray Stevenson's performance was great. I don't know the Shin lady's name, but she's very intense and creepy and scary. I like that she's still rocking a Padawan braid, so he was raised in the Jedi Temple, he's kind of carrying on Jedi traditions, but he clearly states he's not a Jedi, so he's something else, and I'll be curious to see what that is and how all that develops. And I don't know, I like the potential of the show, but especially given the fact that this is a Dave Filoni project, and he worked so intimately on Clone Wars and Rebels, I don't understand why certain missteps are being made and why certain things are inconsistent with those, while at the same exact time there are things that are so consistent with the rest of it. Also, he oversaw the Night Sister stuff in Clone Wars, so why then would he allow Jon Favreau to write Morgan Elsbeth as a non-Night Sister looking Night Sister lady, unless there's some stupid complicated lore reason that some Night Sister lady hooked up with a human with Paco. I don't know if she's Asian or Mexican, so I'm going to keep making jokes about that. She hooked up with Paco or, Ping, and now you got Morgan Elsbeth. So I just don't get it. Seems really weird. Doesn't make any sense, some of the things. And it's upsetting because I like the bulk of the episode, and then these little things are distracting me. But that Sabine Wren section, like the Top Gun reference section, was way too long. But then again, I've never watched Top Gun and I have no desire to, so maybe that's on me, boo. Maybe that's on me. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope that you are well until next time. This is MJ signing out and telling you to look forward to the next episode very soon, because I'm going to watch the next episode very soon and then talk about the next episode very soon. I hope you enjoyed that. Go to mjmunoz.com to leave any questions, comments, or other feedback you might have. There you can find all of my analysis, art, and fiction. I cover books, tokusatsu, comic books, anime, and more. Look around. You're sure to find something else that you'll enjoy as well. This has been a Story Over Everything production.